Okay, I want to add a key here as well. Don't forget to save from time to time. I want to add a key here that takes a bit longer for the front body to come up. And then remove this key. Okay. Yes, this makes a bit more sense. Maybe it's a bit too deep, but yeah. Okay, and I think for the neck we can also go a bit lower here. So let's take the neck controllers, which we have here in our control set, and get them down. Yes, this will look great with an offset. And now it feels rather fast, but when you add offsets, things get slowed down again. Or at least it gives you the feeling things are slowed down again. So I will not change too much about the timing yet, only when I'm going to start adding offsets. Okay, now it feels like the head is moving a lot, and then it suddenly isn't anymore. So we have to make some changes. Then move and hold for the neck, going down, up, and then down again. So at 30, we should feel it. So I need this key to be here as well on these two. And then on 40. And this should make it good. Trying some stuff, moving the keys around. I like it because it's snappy a bit, since it's more lizard-like. The only thing that bothers me now is the fast movement going down and then only going back up. It's what I want, but it's a bit too fast. That's going to slow down the offset, so let's leave it at this for now. Now we should also move our wings. As you can see, our wings are not moving yet. And also our legs stopped moving here, so we should put some move and hold over there as well. And in our tail. So the difference between this button and this button, in case you're wondering, this shows all the keys in the graph editor view. And if you press this button, it's only going to show you the selected time range that you created. Okay, so let's move our feet for now. So it's hanging still, going down, up, body goes down and up again. So we have to replicate the movement. So this up and down, we should replicate this. Same thing for the rotations. We should also animate this one. It seems I didn't take into account the Z-axis in the blocking stage. I did a little bit, but can be a bit more. Since we don't want the feet to feel like it's locked in a certain axis. In 3D, everything moves just like in real life in all directions. You can keep this one and then down again. The point of our dragon is to keep its leg right now still on the ground, so that's why I'm moving it backwards. So it's like giving it more space to put its leg without touching the ground. So because if you go forward, we will, in theory, the more you go forward, the closer you get into your other leg. So if you do backwards, if you don't want to put your feet down, just go backwards since you have all the space that you want. So that's my reasoning for animating the leg backwards. So that's why the curve goes there. don't always have to level out these tangents. It's just most of the time, for me, it's the best way to work. We'll add the toes animation later. And that the toes is something I want to do a pause on. Like when talking about pauses, like it's about the layers I was talking about. It's the same thing. It's like just adding another other layer. And when you talk about like let's do another pass of feet or pass of eyes, it's the moment that you just take your entire timeline and you go and animate or only focus on one specific subject. So if someone tells you do another pass on the feet or do another pass on the eyes, it's just now for the current time you will focus on this sole purpose only, doing the feet or doing the eyes or the head or whatever. And something I like to do is do just a feet pass or a toe pass, just so I can do them like in one go for the entire time now. Because there's a lot of chances that you can copy and paste or at least start from copying and pasting some keys and then continue on or making it a bit more unique each time. But there's a lot of repetitive tasks within these passes. So that's why I like to do them separate. But it's completely up to the animator how they like to do it. Okay, another important thing is the wing. So now the body moves, but as you can see, the wing is not really following yet. It's still in the blocking poses. So let's also get the wing to feel alive. So we go down. Lowest point is here for the body. So let's also add something for the wing. So go down, let's tilt up. Okay. Down, and then the body of the dragon is rotating to the left. So that means our wing should go more behind. We have some weird things going on right here, but we don't really see it in the camera. So it's not really something we should worry about right now. Something you can always fix with blend shapes at the end. So now we have just a lot, and the next blocking key is not really working with us anymore. So let's just copy our 26 to 30 so we can continue from there. And then we can just do the same thing, put a move and hold in there. Okay, same thing for 40 and on. We want to keep everything on this level, so let's copy 30 to the next keys. Create a new pose for this one. I'm going a little bit to the front once we're going down. Don't forget to save on. I think this movement works, just like that, and maybe use half of the translation. I think the translation is a bit too big, so let's just put the key here and remove the one of 44 and move it. So now it's replaced. As you can see, we don't really need the key here even because we're taking the time to go to 26. Yes, so this works. For now, it feels like a bit like just a moving plane, so we need to add a bit more rotating animation. Go down, so let's rotate it a bit more open. We'll do a wing pass as well, just like a feet pass, where we will open and close the wing a little bit like this when we do small movements, just to make it feel a bit more alive. But that's something I like to do afterward. Okay, I think for now we can continue. Just let's look at the full screen for now. Yeah, I can see that our feet, front and back, the hanging ones, are dying a bit, like a sudden frozen space around here. So I think we can add a bit more into our move and holds for those ones. Let's look at this like this. So we're going down. So we're going to the right bottom of our screen. Then we go back up, and then we go to the left again. So we go back to our pre-position, but then we go straight down. It should be a curve. So let me draw what's happening. Save first. Go the blue pencil. Yes. Okay, so when we're going down, we're going like this, and then we go back to our previous position, but then instead of going here, we are going straight down, which gives a weird movement since we're doing like a hard stop. And so we have to make sure we keep our arcs going all the time. Let's get out blue pencil tool. Okay. And now we should go to the left. And then we can go down a bit and make a complete circle. Left, down, yes. Okay. The going up we can remove. Since it's too much bounciness, like 1, 2, 3, we can remove one and give it the move and hold. See, we have something weird going on here, but we can easily remove that key. Here, same thing. Okay, and now it will. And we have a drop here, so it's like stopping, it's dying. Even though it should be alive here still, since our next part is behind 50. So let's continue our movements. Yeah, that looks good for now. Let's go and take another look at the head. Let me just only visualize the controllers and the polygons. Here is something we didn't look at yet. Yeah, we shouldn't really touch. Yes, we should touch. And the rotation. And same for the neck. I like the little tilt here, as you can see here. So it's actually the tiny interpretation we need for the next movement. And let's now just move our time slider until, let's say, 45, 46. So we still can see our last frame. Let's do 44 actually. So here, let's still see our last key pose, and then our next ones are available to us. So save, maybe save a version, don't keep working the same file, but you can save a version as well. Just like going towards here, save scene as, and you can put a version number. Okay, so let's go. Our next task is just using our control set again of the Dragon All and taking the next 50 keyframes and either pressing A here or pressing the shortcut D and make everything default. Make sure you select the ones that haven't been touched yet. So make sure. So 44 we animated. So it could be you already had some custom tangents. So make sure you start from everything behind 44. Press D. At this point, it is a matter of selecting the different controls and making adjustments to create the keyframes needed to continue animating the dragon and its wings. This is a process of experimenting and playing back the animation to see movement that is being created, and then adjusting the keys as needed. So we will speed up the video and even skip some of it when this is a repetitive workflow, but again going back to real time when needed. This also feels a bit too slow, but that's no worries, we can fix it as well. So we will have down, we also have here, it's like one, it's 4 frames. We're taking 4 frames here, can be quite faster here in the and they're opening up. It is something that happens a lot because when you are working in stepped version of animation, everything looks a lot snappier. Like a lot of movements are going really fast, and then you move into a more smoothed animation, and everything is slowing down. And even when we're going to do offsets, it's going to be feel even slower. So we should speed up this as well. Just adding some detail in this controller as well, since this will create like a sort of a synth movement in the body, which we want to feel every time our dragon moves. That everything is like separate and not really like one block or robot that's moving from left to right or rotating. So that's why we need to use these controllers as well. Something like this. So it's our up movement twirl that we can now add some more breakdowns in. Here we have like a small, so here to here we have a bigger movement like anticipation, and here we have a small time frame. Here's where we like do the last push of our anticipation and then go straight up. We can take this pose, but here it's always the same. And then push a little bit further. Oh, never mind. Okay, so I think we can take the next pose already into the spline mode here by pressing D. And then as we can see here, the next pose were this, but obviously for animation purposes, we have to put in some more breakdowns of when and how our dragon leaves the ground. So it's going to be 1 foot, then the next one, so not all feet at the same time. So here I'm taking the wing animation and trying to make it a bit slower and taking the time that's in this area and making this faster. So I'm not adjusting everything behind this last pole. As you can see here, we have some gimbal problems with the tail. So let's try and solve it. It's doing some strange movements here. It's trying to fix its own rotation. That's why it's doing this. So I look at where the tail is now, and I try to match it approximately by just changing the rotation until it's back in the same value, and our graph, or at least our curve, is back to a more normal value. And that's what I do for both curves. So, and now I don't really have this sweep movement anymore. And the other keys that we placed are still in approximately the same position as they were before. So let us take all the controllers and then put them on spline for the drop. Need to add some small flaps here. So there's a reason why the dragon stays up in the air, so it's not just floating. So we can use the copy method to copy over some keys. Here I'll be adding a little bit of anticipation as an up before we go down. And then we can go down, not like this, because it's a bit ugly. We want the dragon to be in control. We want him to go down more face down and looking where he's going. So there's again some blocking in the spline, but that's sometimes how it is with animation. You just go from one point to another, trying to make things fun. So let's adjust the timing, let's say first, and adjust some timing. But also we need a little bit of anticipation of, so we have to go to the right and then we have to go to the left. I think that we have a small flap here that we can use to go to the right. Okay, so we are landing, and it's important that here we are weight shifting on the leg we're putting the most weight on. So we're landing first on the left back leg. That means our body will shift to the left in a landing. So around here we are fully on the ground with the feet. So 2 frames later we can shift our weight to this side, and then we can go back to the right side since we're putting our weight to the right side, and then we will do the same for the front legs, and we will have a small wiggle, but that means some realistic weight shifting that's happening. I'm putting here a more linear curve at the end of the falling down, so the impact is a little bit bigger. I will do this for the 2 back legs as well. A cool trick in the Maya Gravator is the fact that the Gravator also takes on math equations. So let's say, but I want to make all these values a bit stronger. Like, for example, double them. So there's a way you can do this is by removing the values, then pressing the multiply on your keyboard equals to 2. And now all the values have been doubled. And there you can use everything. So you can use divide equals to, so it will double that again, but mathematically speaking, you can do multiply by 0.5 and it will half again. And if you multiply again by 0.5, it will half again. So there are easy tricks when people are like, yeah, I feel like it needs to be doubled. Well, you can just easily do this. Now we've come to a very important part. It's the offsetting that I've been talking about since the beginning. So just to be sure, always save another version, because there's going to be a lot of moving frames and keys. So we can go back to the previous version if things don't work out immediately. Offsetting is all about selecting controllers and then moving the keyframe to the right, all the keyframes, and then deselecting one controller in the list, doing the same thing over and over and over again until you run out of controllers. Most of the time, we are working from the pelvis to the head. So we will be working from pelvis to pelvis controllers, then the middle ones, front ones, then the neck and the head. We will also do the wings at the same time. So we have the IK wings, but we also have the FK wings, which we can select here. After this, we will do the FK legs as well, and the tail. I'm doing these ones separately because I like to work like this, but you can do them all at the same time, but it can turn out a bit chaotic, so that's why I rather split them a little bit. Like this, so we are working from the pelvis up. This is working most of the time, but sometimes you want to lead with your head, and then we will have to change some stuff afterwards again, but that's all in the process of animating. Let's start offsetting. So you can leave your first frame, then everything else you can select, but first we have to deselect the ones that don't need to be offsetted, which is this controller and this controller. and everything else will be moved one frame to the right. For the more fluid your character needs to be in a certain area, the more offset frames you will need to use. For example, the tail, if you do it only one frame, it can be a more stiff tail. But if you're doing 3 or 4 in between, empty frames in between every controller, and it will be more like a floppy tail. So just think about what you need for the animation and then try to recreate what you want with the offsets. So let's put these ones one frame to the right. And I will just continue by deselecting the middle controllers and continue every time. I use the time marker to be sure it's moving always one frame. For me, it's better to keep track of what I'm doing and how much I'm moving stuff around. So here and there we need to tweak some stuff, but you can already feel things are moving more organic. Like for example, in the wings, I think we can use some more offsets, so it will be an even better flap animation. So that's what I'm going to do now. But overall, this is the system of offsetting stuff. So I will do the wings now a bit more, and we'll then start on the FK legs and the tail.